All right, we are live, and Rick,
Yes.
I'm glad to see you, man. Thanks for making
Good.
this happen
Likewise.
so quickly.
Been a couple weeks.
I know, and I'm going to give you zero warning. I literally decided this afternoon that we're going to do this thing.
We're going to do it live. I feel like Savan.
Yeah, I know, it's so funny, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
We'll see.
I had I had the live stream on my other screen
Mhm.
over here, and I could hear myself echoing. It
Okay.
was awful.
Okay.
But hey, we're good. Let's jump
Yeah.
into the topic today. The reason that I wanted to go live was that my inbox, at least my text messages, started to go crazy while I was doing our long conditioning session today at the gym this afternoon because CrossFit released some details about the 2026 season,
Correct.
which are pretty cool, pretty interesting. There's a couple of things that raise some questions in here that I think that it'll be fun for us to address.
Right.
And I know some things, and I have heard rumors on some things. So we'll get into all of that stuff as well. We'll even speculate on some things, which is pretty standard for
Which is what
what
we
you and I
do.
would do. It.
I
Yeah,
think. Yeah. I think
why
so.
wouldn't we do this?
Yeah.
Um,
And they can
so
see.
let's.
They can see live that we'll still make the same crazy
What,
predictions. That
it,
99% of them won't come true, but that's all right. That's what we're doing here.
Exactly. The difference between going live and not going live for us is really no difference whatsoever. This is literally what we
I
do.
was going to
So
say there's not a lot of editing, and that's okay.
no,
That just shows you we
no,
know how to discuss.
we are just top notch. That's how good we are at this.
Uh,
It's
jury's out.
what I need you to do, to catch up with where we're going with this, Rick, is I need you to shave off everything except for
Oh,
the hair on top
yeah.
of your top lip. We need to.
That's, as I've told you, as we've talked, and this, it's going to cost you if you want me to do that. Just like it's going to cost the guys at work. So
I understand.
throw your cash in the pot.
Yeah, yep, I understand. Well, let's jump into the 2026 CrossFit Games season. Here's what we know. This is the 20th anniversary of the CrossFit Games. So we've been speculating based on the fact that it's the 20th anniversary that maybe there's going to be some interesting things happening this year. Maybe they're going to do something unique. I mean, obviously, one of the things we do know is that the individual games are going back to California. We don't know where,
Where?
but we know
Somewhere.
they're going back to
Right.
California. Yeah.
Right.
Age groups have been announced, and this is pretty standard. 14 to 17-year-old for the teenagers. We have all of our standard divisions, including the 70 plus
hmm
again. So
Right.
that is sticky. It's great. Multi-stage format with quarterfinals returning. That was actually the first text message I got this afternoon from multiple
Quarters are
people.
back.
Quarterfinals are back. What do you think?
It is. I'll just say it's fine. I am done expecting CrossFit to come out with the same format 2 years in a row. So since this is something that we've already been through and kind of know how it works and what to expect, that's fine. The community will be ready.
I agree. And I think there was something missing in the 2025 season without quarterfinals. Given
hmm
that we had done that for a couple of years, we got used to that format. And while it is an extra lift for the affiliate to host
Sure.
quarterfinals, there was just so many athletes I know that had a lot of goals based around doing well or one qualifying for quarterfinals.
Yeah.
But for
Yeah.
some athletes, this is a huge feat. They qualify for quarterfinals, and for me, when I'm thinking about masters athletes, we're not young pups anymore.
Right.
And if we start this thing, when I started at age 38, if there was quarterfinals back then, I guarantee within a year or two, I would have been battling to try to get to quarterfinals because it existed. Like
Sure.
it's
Would
a
have been a
goal.
goal.
Just yeah,
It's a stepping stone. And in fact, this year they went from the Open to roughly top 2% or something like that, or whatever the number was. But it was top 200 for like our age group. There were a lot of good athletes that were left, in my opinion, that were 201 and up that might have had one
totally.
bad workout
Yep,
but in the quarterfinals, that net would have caught that many more and
correct.
given them another weekend.
And when you have 200 plus athletes or top 10%, whatever it was, that went to
hmm
semifinals this year, you're basing all of that on literally classmates judging you, in a
Yeah.
CrossFit Open
Yep.
environment. That
Yep.
was the qualifier, and you may not have
Mm,
made it to semifinals because
Don't
And
get me
again,
started.
I
Yep.
love the Open, and
Yep.
I don't mind being judged by an amateur judge in the Open, because I'd like for the Open to be a more community based, more enjoyable. All I
Right.
got to do is make the top 25%. I don't have to win this thing kind of event. And then when we get to quarterfinals, we can have that more professional judging situation, which, those details are to be determined. And I would imagine, I'd predict that we would have some sort of a correction from the pendulum swing we had for semifinals last year, where you had to have
Hmm.
a head judge and a main judge and you had to have a third level judge and an eighth level judge, and like you
Yep.
needed to have an area regional judge involved. It wasn't that big of a deal, but it felt like it was that big of a deal.
Sure.
So hopefully that'll swing a little bit towards the middle, where we're looking for fair judges, good judging.
Right.
Community video review for quarterfinals, I think that'd be fine. If they
Yeah,
implement some of the things they learned last year, they could make it easy for
those are some of the
themselves.
details that I'm looking through. That's right. I didn't even think about that level. But yes, starting with the
Right.
Open, you're right. That's going to
Yep.
be the same. I have that down as February 26th through March 16th. 3
That
weeks
is correct.
again. Open
Yep.
registration is a TBD. So look for it probably December, January, something like that.
Yep.
No different there.
Yep. No different.
But what I want to say is that date that I just said, March 16th. Okay, that'll be that Monday night, as always. I don't have my calendar in front of me. I'm assuming it's Monday night. But here, what you are referring to is quarterfinals for individuals and age groups going together, same weekend, March 26th, 10 days later. That's the kicker
Wow.
that caught my attention. 10-day
I
turnaround.
was.
So that's pretty fast.
Oh, that is really fast. I wonder why they did that. I was literally putting together this little slideshow and just copying and pasting the details.
Mm-hmm.
I literally didn't even look at the fact that you'll have one weekend off,
Right.
and then you'll be doing quarterfinals.
Now
That's
it's a
interesting.
it's a big net, like you have on the
Yep.
slide there. Top 25% per age group.
Right.
Is that right? Yeah.
It is. And it is. And if you qualify, let's say that you're, Sam Dancer, or, actually there was a female athlete. I can't remember which one. She competed in the indie games as well as the age group.
Carolyn Prevost.
Prevost, yeah.
Yep.
So for her, just a single fee. If you
Mm-hmm.
qualify as an individual or an age group for quarterfinals, you only have to pay one fee, which is fine. I mean, it's just a fun little perk.
That just impacts a handful of folks.
Just a handful of folks, and I may qualify for semifinals for Indy, but it won't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But really interesting that it's 10 days later. I think that is I mean, obviously it's a tight time frame. I didn't even see that when I first pasted that. Why do you think it's so tight? Do you think that there's just the schedule? I know that semifinals are basically April through June. So
right.
Maybe it's because semifinals schedules just start that quickly.
I think that reason, and then there'll be a little bit more scrubbing of who makes it out of quarterfinals to go to semifinals. Now, when we get there, we'll talk about the field sizes. They're larger.
Sure.
That's a spoiler alert there. But I don't think it's going to take much to say from the Open, you cut it 10 days later. It's not like they're doing a lot of review or anything like that. It's like 25%, so 1/4 of all Open participants in your age group move on. The more the merrier.
Right.
Just get through it. But then finishing, what is that, March 30th? It's going to take some time to get through all of that before they start the next leg.
Very true.
So
now, also something to notice here is that is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Good. Okay.
That's March
I didn't
26th,
do that.
27th, 28th, 29th, 30th. Takes us to that original window where you have a little longer time frame there to complete everything, which is for those that have to work. I know you've got work schedules to navigate around those time frames, and this may mean that you actually don't have to take on. Maybe you've got to take a half day. One of the days, but it doesn't impact you tremendously. For Masters athletes, having a little bit longer window is generally nice because it gives you a little more flexibility for those springtime soccer games on a Saturday, or you're just trying to juggle a bunch of things. For those that are crazy. It provides the opportunity to test these things multiple times. So whatever,
Right.
you know, if someone
If you
needs to
don't
test
have a
it,
couple of submission windows in there, given the
correct.
longer time, you could have a
That's
couple
true.
scores due Saturday and then 2 or 3
Yeah.
due Monday or whatever the deal is.
When that happens, do you prefer? I prefer that. I actually like
I do
that.
too. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Just it's like an imam. Just force the time, make me
Yep.
do it. I don't want to have the decision fatigue outside of that.
You'll have just a little decision to make. If there's a
Yep.
lift or something that's not, I mean, you play around with that at the beginning. I mean, that's not new.
Sure.
We've talked about that, but
Yep.
knowing that you have to get X amount done by Saturday night, call it Saturday night, I'm just assuming, is, you know, that's more competition feel like. You're not in person, but you have less time to say, I need to redo this. You've got to put your best foot forward, barring a
Right.
camera mishap or something like that.
Exactly. All right, we know this. Let's move on to the fun stuff. This is really where it gets interesting.
Stage 3 semifinals are back. Well, we had semifinals, but they were not a third stage last year. They were a second stage.
Correct. Right. They were not a third stage, so we have that again. The format is interesting because it was mentioned online and select in-person events.
Did that catch your attention or what?
Obviously, yes.
Oh,
I mean,
my goodness.
That is very exciting. The wording was interesting. There's the opportunity to do this.
Select. Wait,
we do have this. We do have. Yeah, you have. I find that wording because that wording was interesting.
Yes. Where is it here? Okay, new this year, age group athletes will also have the opportunity to compete at select semifinals to earn a ticket to the Teenage CrossFit Games or the Masters CrossFit Games.
Yep.
More information, including a list of semifinals, the number of games qualifying spots at each event, dates will be released soon. So,
so that's interesting. Wow. I know an event planner or a competition planner that is in talks with CrossFit about doing an in-person qualifier, and I think that's so interesting that there could be that opportunity. And you know, for Masters athletes, I don't think that we're going to see a worldwide opportunity to qualify, you know, via all of the semifinals. They're not going to have every age group available at every semifinals, or maybe even none of them. Maybe there's just a select couple of competitions where this happens.
One on each major continent or something like that. One in Europe, one in North America.
I mean, if they did one in each continent, that would be so sick. I mean, that'd be amazing for the worldwide Masters community. If they do one or two, Rick, it's still something that we've never done before. And I love the idea that they're dabbling in this.
So you're going to roll the dice based on how do you even sign up or get qualified to go there, get the okay to go there, versus what you have on your next one is the online is May 7th through 11th. That falls directly in between your window of what you just put up there, April through June. So do you put all your eggs in the online basket, or do you say, I'm going to try, can you do both?
I'm sure you
could.
I mean, think about like Brooke Wells last year. You know, she didn't make it through the online qualifier, so she did multiple qualifiers, I think, to get there. I could see something like that. It's the first year of doing anything is going to be a little messy.
A little bumpy.
So I expect it to be like, if there's maybe two spots or maybe the top spot in certain qualifiers. And the reason I say that, we'll get to this, but there's limited spots to get to the games. So you can't, in my mind, you can't have just this an inflated bubble of in-person qualifiers to get to the games, and then you only have a certain amount of online spots. I'm just not sure how they balance that. So I imagine there's going to be a small amount that can qualify in person, and a much larger amount online as they test this process. But still, the fact that this is something that is even in existence is pretty cool. And I'll just say this, that a friend of mine that is working on discussions for having an in-person qualifier. He initially copied me on his original outreach to HQ, and it was actually Castro, and the response was delightful. You know, if you get a response back from Dave Castro that says, hey, that sounds interesting. Let's talk. You're just like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, and this was many, many months ago when this took
right.
place. So the fact that it's even that it was even a welcome, like approachable topic with HQ was encouraging then. The fact that it's happening and there may be more than one in-person
Right.
events, it's pretty exciting. So very cool news for the Masters community, the opportunity to compete in person. I would prefer to compete in an in-person competition versus
I would too.
an online semifinal, but we'll just see how all that unfolds. And if there happens to be a competition that I can easily access, that would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that came up, a question that has come up, and I do have frequently asked questions at the end of this, but it was like, if an in-person competition costs $300, $400 to enter versus an online qualifier that might be $50 to $100, that may be a factor. Maybe that's something to play into the math. Who knows? But
and
still encouraging.
We're coming at it from different angles here too. You would be excited to try that, and you will be in a new. We'll get into this more later, but you'll be in a new age group. So hey, for you to go say you're going to throw your hat in the ring at XYZ semifinal, but you only first place gets the qualifying spot.
Yeah.
There are much better odds with your track record than a lot of us. So, to absolutely win something. So you have to weigh, each athlete is going to have to weigh that decision.
Yes.
Knowing you're probably not going to win, you want to show up, you want to have good experience in person, but that's going to cost time, money, and effort. Maybe we stay and focus on online only, because we'll get into the field sizes, but you're right. Those in-persons are going to chip away at the total number of spots, and that certainly has changed.
Yeah, that's something that we'll get to talk about because it's important.
But hey, your bullet point at the bottom, don't forget that. That's important right there. Who qualifies?
Huge.
That's
this is
big.
Crazy. This is the largest amount. So who qualifies? Top 400 for ages 35 to 54. Top 300 ages 14 to 17, 55 plus. Those are big numbers.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. I think I'm wondering if, having tested the community video review last year, if they're throwing a little bit more at this now, knowing that each year they get better at all this, they can allow for larger and larger fields, larger and larger numbers. Which is what I think could be happening there. But top 400 is great. I did see a question that came in via chat. Do you guys think every semi for the elite will have age groups? I don't think so. And the reason we say that is that to have an age group competition, if you're going to cover the majority of the age groups, you're looking at like 13, 14 total divisions, 35, 39, 40, 44, 45, 49. I'm not going to count them all, but it's a huge amount, including men and women. It's like 14 different heats that you would have to run in addition to individual heats, in addition to teams heats, which are all its semifinal events. It's very hard logistically to do that. So no, I don't think this is happening at every one. I think that's it's a very safe bet. So great question, Luis. Thank you for that. Let's move on. So we've got semifinals. We do know that the online qualifier, actually, we'll mention this, online qualifier is May 7th through 11th. That is another 4-day window. 5-day, sorry, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Monday.
Yep. Same format. Thank goodness. Okay, that's good too.
It was tight last year. It was a little tighter last year. It was, what was it? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, period?
That was it. It was Sunday.
Was it.
And it was Sunday at like 5 p.m. Pacific, something, I believe. Yeah.
Right. Good comment in our in the chat. Leslie says more qualifiers equals more potential dollars for HQ, possibly to be redistributed back to athletes, which is a good point. When they do quarterfinals, when they do semifinals, that does raise a lot of dollars. And I remember, if I'm not mistaken, Rick, the first year of our Masters Games, quarterfinals was the budget for our event.
And Bob Jennings implored us when we talked to him. He said, "Look, people, please sign up. It's going to be It's going to be important. It's going to help drive the success of the event that you want to be successful. There's
Yeah,
no better
indeed.
way to say that message than that. So
Yep.
maybe without those details, but if you have layered in this extra stage,
Yep.
probably that'll play into it again. Maybe they
Yep.
realized that they missed that last year, and
Had to be. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not. I don't care if they grab money. I think the opportunity for quarterfinals and more athletes in semifinals is better for the sport. It's better for
Mhm.
athletes that want to get there. I'm just thinking of the handful of guys I train with that might make semifinals, and they'll do semifinals because they get to. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
So good. All right, stage
We
4,
love that.
age group games.
Oh, let's
Dates
see.
and locations to be determined. Although I have a guess. Before we
Okay.
talk about locations, we will talk about what we do know.
Oh, yes.
Qualifying spots have decreased
Absolutely.
again. It's one of those frustrating things in my mind, slightly frustrating. We've had 20, we've had 10, we've had 30, we've had 40, we've had back
30.
to 20. We've been all over the place here.
Correct.
Last year, predominantly 40 qualifiers in the age groups through 44. It was 40, now it's 30. For our age groups, Rick, it was 30 last year.
30.
Now it's 20.
Now it's 20.
15 for the 55 plus.
Yeah, 55 plus had a field of 30 this year, I think.
So.
Oh boy, I should know that. And here they are cut in half. Now, 60, 64, and 65, 69 might have been in the 20 range. And I think 70 plus was 10. Those might be the same as well. But I'm just specifically looking at 55 to 59. I know that is a big reduction in their number of spots. And yeah, dates and locations to be determined. I would have thought they would have said in conjunction with the game. They purposely left that open. So it might not be with the elite individuals like we were surmising.
So my thought on this is I'm still surmising that. I'm going to stick to that.
Okay.
And just think that they haven't put the deposit down, or they haven't, they're not saying it because it's not inked. Obviously, they haven't said where the indie games are. Dates and locations for the indie games are dates are to be determined as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
right. But on their Instagram story, the little graphic stopped at late July, basically the beginning of August. If you notice that, I don't think that was a mistake. That kind of goes back to the late July timeframe was when they used to have it in California, I think primarily.
Right. So to be determined. My contention is that the reduction in qualifying spots is because we're going to be together, right?
You got to
just
fit
makes
everybody
this logical sense, right? If it's Bob and Joe running this thing and they were going back to Columbus, there's no reason why they'd want to decrease the overall participants. No way.
Right.
And
that's a revenue hit.
They're not sharing. Obviously, I talk to Joe weekly about the Legends Championship, but they're not leaky in any way. There's just literally no conversation about the games except for feedback at this point. So
good. You know what? I hope the conspiracy theorists hear that out there. That they are tight-lipped.
I
would expect them to be.
You're not going to crack it.
I
don't even ask. It's not worth asking because this is not information that I'll hear it when it's appropriate to hear, right? All of us will.
Sure.
So I still contend. I think these numbers are a little bit lower because they're going to do this together and they realize the logistics are just a little more challenging. This cuts out, so many. I don't know how heat schedules work. I've literally never run a comp. I don't understand how it works. But this cuts down a significant amount of heats.
Sure.
When you cut out the third heat or the third or fourth heat or whatever that looks like, right?
Right. With a field of 20, just selfishly looking at our age groups, that's 2 heats for some of the events that dictate a little bit more space, and it's 1 large heat as we've seen play out in Madison or Carson in the past, all across the field.
I'm jumping into that 50 to 54-year-old age group, and you'll be 54 this year. Is that correct?
Yes, Rick? That is correct.
So this is going to be one of those years where you're going to be fighting hard to make the top 20. It's the tough year. It's this next year. You're home free, right? I mean,
see how the body holds up.
Of course, depending body aches.
Yeah.
But But I also think about, a teenager that trains with us. He was in the, he's 21st qualifying spot or something like that as a 14, 15-year-old. He's aging up to 16, 17 and loses 10 spots. So he's going to have a big battle to try to get to the teenage CrossFit Games. I know athletes in the 45, 49 division, close friends of mine that were in that 20 to 29 qualifying spots that were in the in the top 15 when it came to the last day of the game. So
Correct.
Sometimes qualifiers, some people compete better in person than they do in qualifiers. I'm kind of one of those people. So it makes it really tight, really tricky. The again, that positive to me is that you have last year you had 4 days. It felt like a tighter time frame. It was very challenging if you had to repeat a workout. With 5 days, you have a little more wiggle room to do your best in qualifiers to get there. And if you don't make it in the online, just fly yourself to that in-person competition and go punch your ticket. I mean, how fun would it be to be able to do both?
I'll be asking you for your thoughts.
We'll cross that bridge. So dates, locations to be determined.
Correct.
I'm pretty sure you owe me a pizza. I don't know. Do you want to bet a pizza, Rick, on I say they're combined, you say they're separate? And we'll just double or nothing on a pizza?
We'll double or nothing because the Browns-Broncos last year, I obviously never paid you for that. So
you did not. I mean, it was a bad bet on your part. It was no way.
Browns suck. But I'll tell you what. We'll see each other here in October. So
we will.
Will we have an answer by this yet? Let's go.
If we don't, I'll collect the pizza and then I'll owe you a pizza. So we'll figure it out. Okay.
That's perfect.
Questions that have come up. Quarterfinal workouts are the same for indie and age group. This is not a question. I'm just pointing this out. I didn't know where to put this, but it said that the workouts are the same, which is really, actually in my mind, quite fun. So if I'm in the gym, there's some guys I train with that aren't masters, but they're in the mix. So we all get to do quarterfinals together at the same time in the same workouts. I'm sure there will be scaling age group appropriate options for older athletes. I think that's super fun. Or they just make it the same, like everyone can throw wall balls, everyone can do box jumps, everyone can do burpees.
That saves the affiliates
so much.
A lot of effort.
And it can make it, it's going to make it such a, I'm excited about quarterfinals, obviously, but it's going to make that a unifying situation as opposed to, what we've had historically, which felt separate. Didn't love that separateness. Even when there was separate quarterfinals, I didn't love that. Okay.
Yep.
Obviously, questions that are outstanding. How many will qualify in person versus online? Right. It's a good question.
I could say right now, I could guess 2, 3, or 4 total, leaving
agree
minimum of 16, maybe max of 18 qualifying online, which makes it tough.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, max 5. 5 or 6 would be an absolute max. Let's say they had 3 in-person comps, and you got 2 spots per division per comp.
Not
I mean, that
just
would be
saying
very cool. That'd be so aggressive.
Right. Ooh, boy, does that really shave down your online?
I know. A couple of our listeners are probably having small panic attacks inside, depending on how all that goes.
2026 is going to be my year of golf again.
It's a golf year. I mean, hey,
it's a golf year.
There's more money in golf. I'll tell you that. I've thought many times if I could figure out how to golf, it'd be good.
Exactly.
Every time I go golfing, I realize that it is not a hard sport for me. Another question, obviously, these are just questions that hit my text messages. Why decrease the qualifying spots? Are we going to California? Again, we've sort of covered that. And of course, we touched on this. What's the price difference between an in-person and online qualifier? Because that could be a factor. Money it's expensive. It's expensive to travel, do all that. But for the opportunity, it's also great.
I was going to say, you go back to 2 years ago when you had quarterfinals and the semifinals, they were 50 each. You had 20 for the Open, 50 for quarterfinals, 50 for semifinals, and you're in for what is judges course, 10, 20? I don't remember, something like that.
Yep.
Last year, they doubled it up, said semifinals are 100. Open was that. So already, I guarantee you it is going to be much more affordable to do the online version of everything than go in person. But if you think you have a valid chance, a real good chance of winning or taking a top 2 spot, and it's drivable, it's the middle of the country in Nashville or something like that, you do it.
Yeah, drivable, you do
Yep,
it.
you do it.
Question came in on the chat. Are all the semifinals going to have the same programming?
Oh, great question. Wow.
Great question. Literally.
Who knows?
Probably not.
No.
Right?
They could do one event like heavy as Isabel and say that's mandated. Now figure out where it falls in your weekend.
I thought that was very cool. I loved that we had heavy Isabel even came through to semifinals. That was a really cool feature all around. Logistically, I think that that's something that they could do. If you have just a workout with just a barbell, obviously it's easy to replicate that in any semifinal anywhere. But anything more than that, you have equipment. It's different equipment needs, different equipment issues. Let's say that you had a GHD rope climb pistol workout in qualifiers. Could you do that in semifinals? Not every semifinal can have GHDs, or just an example of like, here's a weird piece of equipment that you would use in lots of qualifiers, but not all competitions can have that. So that gets a little tricky. But if one of those simple workouts that you've got a pull-up bar and a barbell, every competition is going to have something like that.
Correct.
That could be fun.
Good question.
Well, that was a good question. Yeah, Rick, that's the news, my friend.
You and I were expecting to get together and talk, but we were searching for what to talk about, and then, as you said, your phone blew up, and same here. So thank you to those that reached out. I was not looking at it. I was in the middle of a work day. I was like, I didn't expect something this soon. I
was in the middle of a 30-minute EMOM, and my watch kept going off. I kept picking up my phone during like 15-second transitions just to see what was going on, and trying to look at screenshots. And so I had digested half of this during breaks between a heavy sandbag hold and a farmer carry or a run. It's big news. I like it. I like that it feels like there's momentum.
Right.
That CrossFit is moving in a direction here. I mean, I also saw John Woolley posted on his story today that he had heard that the sale of CrossFit was going to be announced today, but he's starting to hold all of those rumors very lightly because I think those rumors just come and go. They're quick. So if
that's
there are more news, right?
We don't even know what the direction of CrossFit Inc., where it goes and who it lands with.
And if it gets sold, does all this stuff stick, or does it go? And if I was I don't know. I'm thinking if I was running a business, and I am running a business like Boulder Athlete, I think even when it's for sale, you go, business as usual. Like today, I'm literally planning our next 9-week cycle that literally is sandwiched between MFC and the Legends Championship. That's 9 weeks. It's perfect for a 2-part cycle.
Right.
And if, let's say, someone came to me like, hey, Jason, we're considering buying Boulder Athlete today, that wouldn't change the fact that I'm building things through the end of the year. Like the business still moves forward, even if there were quarters, and no one's knocking on my door. We're not selling.
No. And the point is,
but CrossFit is doing that. They're plowing ahead. They're doing good things. And in my mind, like their social media lately, their coverage of the indie games, the Masters games, the adaptive games, all of those things have made it more attractive to me. Like I'm feeling good about the brand. I feel like there's there's effort. I don't know. I felt like there was a time when there was just it got a little stagnant.
Zero effort from the social media, from the media teams. Zero effort at all. And now at least it's really picked up. I think prospective buyers are looking at this as well. And, CrossFit has a responsibility to, show financials and things like that. And as negotiations are ongoing, I don't think prospective buyers are saying, we're 90% of the way through making this deal, but we're going to, turn on a dime when the ink is dry. So this is all part of a probably, hopefully, a seamless process. But who I don't know. That'll be when we next get back together, right?
I know. If it's announced tomorrow, Rick, clear your schedule because we'll
be right back on. That's fine. Yep. Just going to
Hey,
work.
this was fun doing it live, Rick. Maybe we might do something live more often, because this was fun.
We can get some questions, more questions.
Get some questions way easier than I thought it was. I wasn't sure how to do it. I clicked the stream button and I put a thumbnail out there. It's actually pretty easy. So with that said, hey, Leslie, Luis, thanks for being in the chat. Brent as well. And to Rick, thank you. And to everyone else,
Likewise, buddy.
We'll see you guys next